on Cemetery Ridge, or just Cemetery Ridge, I'm sorry. The first Minnesota monument. One of the cooler stories from the Battle of Gettysburg. Here's the sign. But apparently the Confederates attacked on the second day across this field with an entire brigade, and the Union line was wavering. Hancock had ordered up more troops to reinforce the position so the Confederates wouldn't break through and breach their line. But it was going to take about 10 minutes to get the troops up here in position, and he needed to buy 5 to 10 minutes of time. And somewhere behind us, you see the Pennsylvania Monument there. The 1st Minnesota was sitting in reserve, not fighting in the battle at the moment. Hancock needed time for the reinforcements to get here, and he wrote over, which regiment is this? They said the 1st Minnesota, and he told them to charge that line. And I believe it was Cadmus Wilcox's brigade of the Confederate Army, about 12 to 1,500 men, and the 1st Minnesota had a total of 262 men and were asked to charge into a brigade of 12 to 1,500, so they were outnumbered 4 or 5 to 1. And it was basically a suicide mission. Hancock after the war would say that he hated to order it, but if he had to do it again, he would do it again because it was vital. 215 of the men were wounded or killed out of the 262. 47 survived. And they say that roughly 195 of them went down within 5 minutes. They apparently charged and made the ravine somewhere along the fence line there, and held just long enough for the Union reinforcements to get up and reinforce the line and keep the Confederates from breaking through the line. But that's a massacre of men. Of course, that one of the men in the 1st Minnesota said, "We knew that order meant death or wounds to us all." And a valiant charge, a sacrifice to say the least. Looking across to the Pennsylvania Monument, and to the rear is the Spangler barn, which was used as a major field hospital during the war. I wish I could tour it. Unfortunately, it's only open on weekends, and we're here during the week. That is where the body of Confederate General Lewis Armistead was taken, and he was actually put in the house, in the kitchen. His wounds were not considered to be life-threatening, but he did die there. I believe it was 2 days after the battle. They say he was extremely fatigued, and it seemed that he may have had a premonition that his death was coming. According to maybe truth, maybe legend, maybe some embellishment of the story, but apparently him and Winfield Scott Hancock were close friends before the war, as of course many officers in the Confederate Army and Union Army were. And of course it's portrayed rather dramatically in the movie Gettysburg. And the Pennsylvania Monument being the largest monument on the battlefield, we're going to go up top shortly and shoot a video from the top because the view from up there is amazing. It has all the Union generals from Pennsylvania who were key in the battle, including Hancock. It also has Governor Andrew Curtin, who was the governor at the time at the state of Pennsylvania, and there's a statue of Abraham Lincoln as well. The squares on the bottom base of the monument are lists with individual names of each regiment member for every Pennsylvania regiment that fought at Gettysburg. They total just short of, I believe, 35,000 men who fought in their home state. The symbol at the top of Nike was made from melted Civil War cannons. And we're going to shoot that shortly on the top. We're going to go up and take a view, climb up on the top. It's an amazing view. I saw it last year, but I didn't shoot a video of it, which was not real bright, but nobody ever accused me of that anyway. But as you can see the front of the monument, the detail is remarkable. And just to put it in perspective of where it sits on the battlefield, straight ahead where you see the road going by is actual cemetery, or another part of Cemetery Ridge, where Pickett's charge took place at the angle and the famous copse of trees.